Ramble.
Thank you to BetterHelp, DoorDash, and Caraway for sponsoring this episode.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of You Can Sit With Us. I'm one of your hosts, Matt, sitting here with Maggie.
Hello.
We have Rainie on the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest today. We're going to get some behind-the-scenes scoop from our own Silent Night. Nick Rufca.
Yay, Nick.
So excited to have you
I'm so happy
here.
to be here with you both.
Yes, we've been meaning to have you on for a while. We've gotten a lot of, the inner workings and behind the scenes from other people in the office. And we haven't had you on yet. We haven't had a chance.
Excellent.
Today's the day.
I'm honored.
You Can Sit With Us listeners know Rachel very well, but what they probably you haven't had a deep dive with Nick. So we're really excited to have you on. Thanks for carving out some time to come and chat with us.
Absolutely.
Do you want to introduce yourself and your title?
Yes. Who are you? Why are you here? What do you do?
My name is Nick Rufca, and I am the COO of Second Try.
Ooh, sounds fancy.
Yes.
Chief Operations Officer.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you started at Second Try, can you tell us a little bit about where you started and what your title was there?
Yeah. So I came on as a producer, and I got the call maybe a week before holiday break. And Rachel called me to have me come in to replace her because she was going on an extended maternity leave to have her twins.
Yes.
So you've been here for 2 years?
I know I can measure myself from
Not
June and
two.
Poppy. Four.
Oh my God, they're already 4.
Yeah,
I know. I thought you were being sarcastic.
Yeah. They grew up really fast.
Time
Seriously.
flying.
But when I question how long I've been here, I think of the girls.
Yeah.
Because they were
so
in her
funny.
belly when we interviewed. And it was wild. I had not been in the YouTube space before, and I had been laid off from my previous job, which was a digital production company, maybe 3 months prior. And I was just getting to that point where I'm like, I have not heard back from anyone. I had a recruiter looking for me. I was going for all these Netflix, Amazon, big
Traditional
old
media.
streaming. And then Rachel called and she's like, I work for these YouTube stars, the Try Guys. So I looked them up.
And that was history.
And then I started I got the job right before I left town, and I started the day I got back. And Rachel and I overlapped for 2 very hectic weeks because the first week I came in, they were shooting every day.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I'm out. And
bye. It's your problem.
she was like, I gotta go rest. And it was a very wild, eye-opening beginning. I really didn't feel like I knew what I was doing for the first month.
Well, you played it well. Every single time you were producing any sort of video, I was like, I
remember the first time I met you.
Really? I was thinking about.
I think it was the winemaking.
That was the first time.
I don't know if it's the first time I said hello to you, but was that the first time you were on camera?
It was close. I think it was technically the second.
Yeah.
Because I think
maybe with me it was the first. I don't know.
You know what? I think it was maybe the first.
I remember feeling like we were like, oh, Maggie hasn't, is joining the troop, and it was such a weird shoot. And
it was not in the space that we're normally and
it was just
working
weird.
around people, but
I was definitely figuring things out.
Yeah.
There
was no policies and procedures.
The first video they did, the day I started, the Monday I started, they were doing crop tops. And I'm just like, this is weird. And we were in that little living room.
You're like, who would want to watch that?
I'm just standing off to the side. What have I signed up for? And Keith and Zach were in the crop tops, and Eugene was the expert.
Expert in crop tops.
Eugene is an expert in crop top, but sure.
But they were interviewing him. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I get what this all is.
I mean,
and then
we all left that video being like, what? What was that?
What was that thing? And then that Friday they did the dumplings video, which is one of our biggest. And that's the first video that Rachel, because I was kind of shadowing her that week, and she called and was like, I'm not going to make it today. So I was like, oh my gosh. just me.
Just you.
Which
Without,
was,
did you,
HBIC?
was it that video where you're like, okay, this is pretty cool
I still thought it was weird.
that we're eating?
I mean, it was cool. I knew right away, like, the guys were super nice.
Yeah.
You know, I remember, like, they helped bring up the equipment, which I was like, that's cool. And then Keith Keith was so, just talkative to me right away that made me feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
He's very talkative.
Yeah.
I know. He's always trying to make everyone feel welcome.
That's his strength.
Yeah.
What do you think about YouTube now? Because I feel like I know a lot of people in like traditional media who sort of, I don't want to say look down on, but aren't really, like there's a little bit of judgment. Do you deal with that, or are you sort of like, no, YouTube rocks? Like they don't.
No,
get it.
I love it now.
Yeah.
And my take on it is, before I switched over to digital media, I worked in feature films, and sometimes they would be great jobs and sometimes they'd be miserable jobs, but it's very few jobs where people actually saw them, because it takes so much for a movie to get to the theater. And,
Right.
And so I would work on a project, busting my ass for months and months.
I got for like
and
years,
then,
And it would take forever.
And then
to
no one
see
knows
the
what
final.
it is. I'm like, have you heard of this movie? It was out last,
Yeah.
Where this, we're cranking stuff out. And if people don't know what it is, I could just say, here, open your phone. I'll show you.
Yeah.
So I just like the work to public release ratio
Is really
Your work gets
gratifying.
out there.
Yeah. It's
and a lot of people are watching and responding. So
Your content doesn't sleep.
I kind of just sleep. I love it. But yeah, I do think there's a little bit of a
Yeah, and it's just like,
no, YouTube is like,
YouTube.
it's cute.
How do you get paid? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's judging you? Who are these people?
They're probably people in my age bracket who started out in this
21.
industry. Yeah. So exactly. Who YouTube came to be when we were out here. It wasn't an option
that's
when I
true.
moved here.
Yeah.
It was film or TV.
True.
Yeah. So I think it just became this newer thing that people who didn't come up with it don't quite understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't watch it all the time.
What do you think is next on YouTube?
Oh my gosh, great
The
question.
next.
Yeah. What do you see in
my
the future?
gosh. Well, I'll go off that last answer. Is like now I think we're already working with people who grew up with it, but I think I grew up dreaming about making movies and dreaming in like the film language. And I think now that people have grown up dreaming in the YouTube language, the content's only going to get stronger.
Yeah.
Because you've spent your life.
There's going to be more films on YouTube.
I think it's just going to be more and more elevated because we're now working with people who watched it their whole lives and have their own ideas and know the audience because they are the audience. So I think it's just going to get better and better.
Yeah.
So TikTok is not going to replace YouTube.
I don't think it is. Gasp.
Oh my gosh.
Don't you think
That's a hard
don't you
question.
think TikTok is a different kind of consumption?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like I still meet people who are like, I'm obsessed with TikTok, but I go to YouTube for my shows.
Yeah.
I think YouTube will become more, it already is show and series and
Yeah. I mean, TikTok still, I feel like, is used mostly for short.
Yeah.
videos,
Short form content.
short stuff.
Even though there's they can say that there's more people on at one moment. It's just because it's shorter and it's just.
TikTok, you're basically just channel flipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just want to bounce.
Yeah.
There's
What TikTok?
billions of channels.
What TikTok algorithm are you on?
Yeah, what's on your talk
I'm
right
getting
now?
out of it. I'm like pulling myself.
You're just trying.
I'm off
Coffee
social. I got off
cleanse?
social.
Wow. Yeah.
Whoa.
How
you could-
recent? How recent did you get off?
I got off in the summer of 2020.
Like he was gonna be
yeah.
this morning.
And I did it. Yeah. I'm like, I stopped today with coffee. There's a lot going on.
Wow.
Yeah. It was right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I felt like
You have no Twitter. You have no Instagram. You have no Facebook.
you
You have no LinkedIn. You have no.
I have LinkedIn.
TikTok.
Don't mess with my LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have
LinkedIn
LinkedIn.
is, I'm on there for professional reasons.
Snapchat.
And I got back on Instagram as
Okay.
I had to reach out to experts for Try Guys.
Oh, I see.
So you can find me there, but I've got no posts, and it's honestly I've just used it to reach out.
Yeah.
That's
but
like me and my Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, and Facebook, but yeah, Facebook I deleted, which was I
Whoa.
was like, wow, this is
Gone.
I
crazy.
deleted my Facebook.
Yeah.
It was hard because
Yeah.
A lot
Memories.
of family members.
And then I went through all my albums. Like, oh my God.
But I got to a point where I was like, family members, you can find me on WhatsApp if you want me.
Yeah.
WhatsApp is your app.
Yeah, just because I have a lot of families overseas. So like, I was like, if you want to message me.
Yeah.
But I guess it's harder because then they're not seeing the same photos and like a photo stream. But anyway.
Yeah. I jumped onto TikTok when we did a Try Guys TikTok. When TikTok was so new, we did a Try Guys Try TikTok. So I had to get it.
I didn't know we did that.
It's
That's
so
funny.
crazy. That was only a couple years ago. And my algorithm was definitely like food and recipes and fitness. And then a friend of mine was like, I love watching Karens on TikTok. And she showed me one.
Yeah.
And then I was filled with Karens going wild. And that was actually, it started to disturb me. So
that one, you can't.
I'm off of it enough where I feel like when I get on once in a while now, it's usually like a celebrity thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's sponsored something.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm on private jet TikTok.
Oh,
It's insane.
wow.
So funny.
Matt is not on relatable content. He's on inspirational content.
What does that mean?
It's insane. It's like people are going to buy their private jet. And it's them like designing it and like what they want. And like
Designing
how many
it.
people and
I
like
thought
is
they
it going to
just-
be able to land in Mykonos? You know, it's like all this stuff. And you're like, are these people?
Wow.
They're like, I don't like leather. It's so old. So I have felt everything. Like
There's
everything
enough
is
private
felt.
jets to go
I'm like,
around where people are just customizing
Yeah.
their own.
That's what I was. You can customize. This is like.
Yeah, you can have your own private. Have it. Yeah, there's companies that do it, and then you get to like view. It's like MTV Cribs, except it's their jet, and they like bring you through all their choices and everything.
Wow.
It's wild.
That's a lot to cover. And how?
Yeah.
What is it like?
Yeah.
What's the limit now? 3 minutes.
Yeah. It's like, and then
Part one.
Maybe you gotta follow
It's
it.
fascinating. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay,
Also
Nick
feels
has
weird.
like a hidden thing that I didn't know about, and it all
Hidden.
makes sense now. Tell us about. You are a food critic.
I am a food critic.
A hidden food critic.
A hidden food critic.
You're
It's weird for me to say. I think maybe around 2010 when I was working film production jobs
Wow.
and trying to do my screenwriting around crazy hours and just it wasn't happening. I was super creatively frustrated. I was like, oh, maybe I'll start a blog that's just me writing about restaurants, which I love.
Fun. Yeah.
So I did that for a summer, and then
Is it restaurants you love, or you love writing about the restaurants?
both.
Are there like okay?
Yeah, I would write about.
Because there are
like,
some bad ones on there too, like bad reviews, or you only do
No,
good
when I
reviews?
was doing my own blog, I was just trying to like say like this place
Positive.
is cool or this is a good happy hour or
only
you can.
positive.
It was kind of
Oh.
like good deals you can get at good
okay.
places.
Well, Zach
then-
always messages you anytime he
does.
wants like a restaurant, and I never
That's so
never
sweet.
like clicked in my
Yeah.
head, and I was just like reviewing.
I love when people ask me for a restaurant recommendation. I think I was telling you at lunch. I'll never know on the spot. I'm kind of like but
me
then I need
see.
like 10 minutes. I'm like I'll come back to you.
Yeah,
I just
but
like to
you
know, like,
always never steer us
Your
wrong.
Rolodex.
And so I saw an ad for. Do you remember Frontiers magazine? Were you? Frontiers magazine is no longer in print, but it was the free LGBTQ West Hollywood magazine.
Cool.
And they were looking for a restaurant reviewer for them. So I applied. I sent in my blog. I got the job.
Ooh,
I did that for a couple years, and then I was like, I want to go bigger.
yeah.
I got $75 a story. And then as AAA members, we were getting, you get a free magazine with your AAA. And in Southern California, it's called Westways.
Cool.
And I always liked reading it. I'm like, they have restaurant roundup. So I wrote the editor and I was just like, hey, if you're ever hiring writers. And she was like, we're not hiring, but if you ever have an idea, send our way. So I sent them an idea.
And pitch them things.
She gave me the story. And then
Hello, production background.
yeah, and then she started giving me like just more and more assignments, maybe for a couple of years. It was sporadic. And then, and I wasn't a critic. I was just doing like food.
Writing.
I
Okay.
called it food writer.
Okay.
A food writer. So I would do like 3 places to get amazing fried chicken in LA.
Cool.
And then she finally gave me a column where I was writing about 3 places. So it was regular.
Oh, okay.
And then last year, the food critic retired. And so I got promoted. Yeah.
And you earned the title of food critic.
So now I am a food critic, but what's funny is, and I'm in the Palm Springs area, like gave me Riverside County.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So one, if you're in LA and you hear me talking about this and then you get West Coast Magazine, some people have been like, oh yeah, I saw your little story. It's so cute. And I'm like, no, that's the truncated version. Because in LA, they shorten it to like a blurb. But in Riverside County edition, I'm the big one, and they shrink the LA.
Oh.
Interesting.
So yeah, now I go. I don't tell them I'm going.
Right, because I was like, do they ask?
Shopper.
Do they
I'll
ask?
always go
shopper.
3 times.
Okay.
You go to the same place 3 times.
I do.
And do they know you're
Like how
coming?
far apart?
No, they don't know you're coming.
Usually it's like within the same month. There was one time where Paul and I went to Temecula for a weekend. I'm like, we have to cram in
A couple places?
a couple visits to the same place. And the woman's like, you're back, huh? And every time I have a notepad, I'm like, yeah, I'm back. I think she figured it out.
Wow.
I love how you have a notepad instead of just your phone.
Your legal pad?
Oh, I write it all down. No, I can't do notes on my phone. I've
Yeah,
got
you have
notes
to-
out.
I wish you would do like a voice recording.
Yeah.
The risotto has mild flavors.
I'm like, the server has just recognized me.
I've been docked.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes life can get super overwhelming. I know when I get thrown in so many different directions, I have no idea how to prioritize what to do first because I just want to get everything done all at once. So sometimes in life, we're faced with tough choices and the path forward isn't always so clear. So whether you're dealing with decisions around career, relationships, or anything else, therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. We love therapy here at You Can Sit With Us. I love having dedicated time carved out week after week when I'm able to talk to someone who's unbiased, and it helps me show up as the best version of myself for not only my friends, my family, but my significant other. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/sitwithus today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/sitwithus. Summer is finally here, which means we are all getting super excited to do some beach hangouts, some barbecues with friends, and just like enjoying the sunshine. With Summer of Dash Pass, you'll enjoy $0 delivery fees and reduced service fees on all eligible orders, making it easier and more affordable than ever to stock up on your favorite summertime essentials like swimsuits, beach snacks, sunscreen, and more. Summer of Dash Pass is a once-a-year event you don't want to miss, thanks to the chance to get special access to member-only events, whether you're into sports, music, or great snacks. Experience a summer like no other. Enjoy your best summer with a Dash Pass membership from DoorDash today. Sign up for a Dash Pass now and you'll get your first month free. Plus, when you use our promo code, get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your next Dash Pass order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code SITSUMMER. That's 50% off when you spend $15 or more on your next Dash Pass order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code SITSUMMER. Don't forget, code SITSUMMER for 50% off your next order. Subject to change, terms apply.
So yeah, I do. Now it's more of a review. I go 3 times. I get paid more.
Okay.
But I don't get.
So what's your
massive-
star? Do you have like a star? Like what's your ranking process?
No.
There's nothing like 3 out of 5 stars.
I don't
4.
have a star.
Must
or-
go.
What's your
No.
favorite bite in all of Southern California? Go.
Well, in Palm Springs, and it's the hardest reservation to get. But it was my first official review. It was Bar Cecil.
I knew that. You told me that before. Yeah.
I've never
If
had
you're
it.
in
I still have
area-
never been there.
Unfortunately, like a hyped up movie, I feel like it's now hyped up. So now when people go, they're like,
Like it's
Rated.
fine.
But it is my ideal restaurant. It's like
Okay.
this small, cozy
in a hotel,
California.
isn't it?
No, it's in the strip mall.
Oh, it's in a strip
Yeah.
mall. Oh.
And which is also my favorite thing when you go to a strip mall, and then there's just like amazing atmosphere inside, and it's the service is top notch. They're super friendly. If you go to see at the bar, it's amazing drinks, and then just like really good food, steak free, and they always have a vegan option, and
Ooh,
just like a good cozy night out.
that's awesome.
And if you're in Palm Springs, you cannot. I mean, if you're in the area, you cannot get reservations. It's always booked. I don't understand it, but you can go at 5:00, and they
Big.
always leave areas open. So
For a walk.
I'm testing it. You could get in.
Okay. You just have
But
to
it
beg.
is
So how many times have you been? More than 3.
I've been more than 3. I've probably been 8 or 10 times.
Wow, 10 times.
Yeah.
I love.
Well, it was the beginning. It's the first thing he wrote about.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, there's been some time.
Yeah.
Yum.
So that's in Palm Springs, and then Rachel and I just had dinner at a really good restaurant called Greekman's in LA. Have you been?
I've never been.
Okay.
Greekman's. I never even heard of that.
Yeah.
What part
it's
of
over
town?
in Silver Lake Echo Park.
Oh, okay.
And it's Greek.
Yum.
But it's just super cozy and really good small plates that are actually like shareable. You know, like not. I don't like when people are just like there's small plates and
One
shareable,
bite.
and it's this.
And you have like
2
one
deviled eggs
one
for
tomato.
4 people. Yeah,
Well, we have tons of questions
I'm ready.
from all of our wonderful listeners.
Okay.
What's the last mistake you made?
As it
At
relates
work.
to Try Guys,
Yeah.
I had a mistake story ready for life.
Oh, you can do life too.
I could tell you a funny thing that's not Try Guys. This is
Yeah.
like fresh.
Go
last
for
night,
it.
because I was thinking
last
about
night.
this question because Rainie gave me a few in
Yeah.
advance. This has nothing to do with Try Guys. This is all just being Paul. But Sunday night is like our chill.
Sounds like you're blaming Paul for something.
nervous.
I am going to blame
Yeah.
Paul.
Poor Paul.
He actually spent the day working yesterday. Bless his heart.
Aw, Paul.
And then
For
Sunday
anyone who doesn't
evening-
know, Paul is your partner.
My husband.
Yes.
Yes.
Sweet Paul.
Yes.
He's angel.
And he spent the day working, and he was like, all I want to do is log off at 6:00. I'm going to make us dinner, which is like his free his mind activity. And our Sunday night is usually like HBO or Housewives, and we eat dinner from the TV, and it's just like this chill.
So you
end of
never
the
say
weekend.
yes to Sunday plans.
We do, but often
for the
no.
most time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got dinner ready, and he was like, I think let's just pop on the Tonys, which were on
Oh.
last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of random. We've never watched the Tonys before. So the performer from West Side Story, Angela Bassett, did the thing.
Oh,
What's her name?
Ariana DeBose?
Yes. She was hosting.
Uh-huh.
He's like, maybe this is like her comeback. Like she's going to own that moment. So we sit down and we watch it, and she's amazing. She's the host. She does the opening.
I have no idea where the story's going.
Yeah. So we just keep watching. We're like, this is fun. Like they're bringing out all the different, I don't know if you've watched the Tonys before, but if you're into theater, like they're bringing out all the
They do,
musical
like, little-
numbers from the show. Like
little
it's very
performances.
performance heavy. So he kept checking in. He's like, do you want to just keep watching? And it was on live stream, so no commercials. I'm like, yeah. We watch. It's a 3-hour show. We're so into it. We're making fun of costumes. He's texting his theater friends. But we're also confused because The Strange Loop, which we saw last summer, is like up for awards. We're like, that's so crazy because I thought when we went and watched it,
It won the Tony
it won the
last
Tony.
year.
Like I thought we were telling people
Oh.
about. You know where this is going.
Yeah, I know.
It wins the big prize at the end, and we're like, are we watching last year's Tonys?
Oh my god.
We
I was about to say, I was
put our
like,
head
she
under the couch. We were just like, wait.
hosted
We were in the
last
Strange
year.
Loop. Yeah, we were like, she hosted last year. That's why she never referenced it. He's looking at his text to his friends. He's like,
my
I'm
God.
making fun of people, and the friend's just not answering. I'm like, your friend thought you were nuts. Like, we're watching last year's Tony. That's like watching last year's Oscars and texting people. We looked at each other like, we cannot believe this. We were laughing so hard.
That is so funny.
And
Wait,
there was all.
That's
Now we're
pretty
going
good.
back. We're like, there was all these flags. That was a big mistake. We watched an old award show like it was happening.
that is so
Trick
funny.
yourself.
Wait, so this was, how did you stream?
Well, it
What
was on Paul. So this is why I blame Paul because
on
he like
YouTube.
queued
Oh,
it up.
it's
It was
Paul.
on our Paramount app,
I got it.
and we
Okay.
went back to it. And he's like, "Look," and it does look like it's live
fresh.
Tonys.
Yeah.
And so he just hit play, and there was nothing about it.
my
They never.
God.
We went through the.
You probably were so excited when 6 was up there too. They
Oh, we
did,
loved it. We're
Yeah.
like, yes. We're like, we just saw this. But like, how did everything tour to LA so fast?
Don't stop.
that is so.
They did the people who died. We're like, oh my God, we didn't know they died. They had already died 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Insane.
How did they die?
That was my life mistake, but it was really funny.
Is there a video that you wish had gotten made
Yeah.
that didn't? For whatever reason.
I mean, one pitch I made that got denied was taxidermy. There you go. That's why. That's why. We thought there would be too much backlash, but I went to like
I feel like there's a lot of taxidermy content out there. There's like a lot of YouTube.
I went to see, this is during the pandemic, and so it was a virtual, it's called Creative Mornings, and they basically bring creative individuals, and you could watch like them do a lecture about their work. And there was a female taxidermist based in LA, who just spoke about it in the most loving, respectful way, and how it's really about connecting to nature. They don't kill the animals
It's like roadkill.
I think that's what usually people
and a lot of
that's what's
people bring in their pets, which I know that's sometimes
So I keep telling
people,
Eugene we're gonna do with Emma.
Yeah, so you would want to be connected to this woman. And I left, I'm like, oh, that was amazing, which I think makes a great video because you're sort of breaking down a stereotype, and it's also
The
something.
shock, it has a good shock factor.
Yeah. But in the best way, because she was incredible.
and knowledgeable.
And she teaches
and, like,
classes,
respectful.
and she owns this business and has female,
Feels like a TED Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was willing to let us go in and try it.
Yeah. And I guess you can do like so you don't have to necessarily do something fluffy. You can do taxidermy bugs, right?
Well, you could do
Like an armadillo.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Primals,
taxidermy bugs. Interesting.
Oh, right.
Melissa does.
Taxidermy.
Yeah, you could do anything from bugs to birds to
Wow.
squirrels. What would you watch?
I think your point of like it's shock factor, because I don't like blood or really
Yeah.
any sort of surgery, but I think the shock factor is good, and I think that's beautiful. That it's like
I
think
feel
that's
like
the
I don't
point
know
of-
enough about it. So if
That's-
someone's
that's-
willing
yeah.
to
That's the
explain the
perfect
theory to
try.
me, I'm open.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Yeah.
you wouldn't show like the blood, all that stuff would probably already be done. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not seeing blood and guts.
Yeah, it's like just the
okay, that's good.
pelt or whatever.
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know what you
I wonder
call
who
it.
does the
Well,
But there are
petition to do-
a lot of TikTok. I was on taxidermy TikTok for a while too, and there's like people on it.
Matt,
your
your
algorithm
range is crazy.
jets and
Jets and
animals.
taxidermy.
dead animals.
Is Matt a murderer?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
what's like the pitching process like here?
It is.
Is it in a room or is it in an email thread?
It could be both,
Yeah.
and I think different ones of us have different preferences.
Uh-huh.
I think that the guys led by Zach can like fire off ideas in text chains
Yeah.
and go back and forth. I like to sit everyone down and like try to keep it organized and talk through in person. And I found through the years when I sent pitches over emails and people didn't respond, it was confusing because I'm like, did they not like it?
Right.
Or did they just, you
Right.
know, so.
Because sometimes the emails are so long.
And I found
Yeah.
it was more of like just forgetting about it. Like I'd bring
Yeah.
it up like a couple months later. I'm like, did you guys not like that idea? And they'd be like, Wait,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
So I never pitch in emails.
and you guys usually will do like I don't even know how often, just
Yeah.
as needed.
Yeah, I
in
feel
person
like,
pitches.
yeah, we'll just like
And shoot
get
it
the
off.
band together and throw around ideas.
Yeah.
And then it usually goes off in 1,000 different directions. And
Right.
then you have to
Yeah.
like rein it back in.
Yeah. Are you still doing that as COO or not as much?
No, not as much. I don't like, last week they called me in to go over videos, which was cool, but and now whenever I get an idea or see an idea, I send it to Erica
Right.
to put it in a log.
Oh, smart.
Because I was like,
Yeah.
the email thing. I'm like, if I
Yeah.
just email, I don't know if they don't like this or what. So
Right.
I think before this brainstorm, Zach and Rachel went and looked at the list and
Right.
The queue.
pulled
That's fun.
out
Right.
a few that they thought they could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's no set method to it. You
Yeah.
know, I think
Yeah.
if I got an idea that I was really excited about, I would just set a meeting and pitch it to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Plant the seed.
Yeah.
At the
Tell everyone
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was really excited to
chatter
do
going.
drifting
Oh yeah.
because I knew they wanted to do that. So like
Yeah.
I summoned them for a call. I'm like, I got a place.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was.
Do you have a favorite video? It doesn't even have to be something that you worked on, but maybe you were on set, maybe you weren't, but like you were like, oh, this was awesome.
Yeah.
He's like crop tops.
Wasn't part of it, but it's a favorite.
The amount of shade cropped that got
I didn't realize it as it was happening, but by the time it came out, I was really into the tattoo video, which you were in. Just because I had always wanted to do a video exploring tattoos because I love like that tattoos just have stories behind them. And then Zach sort of pitched a partnership with a temporary tattoo place that had reached out to him. So he just wanted to rock the fake tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to bring them together and not just have this be like walking around with fake tattoos, but like anyone on the staff who has or hasn't tattoos, let's talk about it. And I thought there was like some profound stories that came out of it.
That was cool.
And then the tattoo artist I got, which was not part of Zach's pitch, was awesome. And so I just liked how that video came together.
Yeah.
Tattoos are so crazy.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
We were watching something the other day that was like slow motion.
Tattoos. Wow.
Oh.
Ooh. You don't have any.
No.
And you never will?
I've never felt the need.
And Eugene doesn't.
No.
Yeah. And you don't.
I don't. I'm not opposed. I just don't have anything that,
It's funny, and you don't either, I remember.
Yeah.
Do you?
I do. I have one on my ankle
Oh.
from my 25th birthday.
What is it here? I
A
can't
little
see
lizard.
it. Oh, cute.
Aw.
I've never
wanna kick
noticed it.
Yeah. It was one and done for me.
Really?
Yeah.
That was it?
I know. I didn't get well, actually, I should say 1 and 2 parts because I got the lizard. And then at the time, I loved it. And I was like, I'm going to get this filled in as I travel. And the first place I went after was Prague. So I got it filled in there.
Cool.
And then after that, I was like, I'm done.
Did it hurt that bad getting it filled in?
No.
No, even on the ankle.
Yeah.
Like this bony
It's
prominence.
like that good pain.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah.
Pain is pleasure.
Pain is pleasure. It's like, I could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prague.
So-
How was Prague?
Awesome.
Heard great things.
Yeah. It was cool.
So for like our audience who doesn't know, like what is a producer? What do you do? Or what
the
did you do?
producer title, I think, is the most confusing title in all of Hollywood because there's so many types of producers, and the title is given to so many different individuals who do different things. In our world, the producer, I would say, takes the idea and executes it. So if I'm given a video idea from Zach, let's say it's the tattoo, then I need to figure out how this video comes together, what makes the most sense. Rachel is definitely like this. I would usually make an outline and try to visualize the video in my head before committing to a schedule or anything. And then usually present it to the guys. And then they could sign off is how I would do it.
Yeah.
And then from there, you either reach out. I feel like Rachel and I were the same way where we like to reach out to the experts because that informs so much of the video. But sometimes Jonathan or someone in the production staff will be like, here's 5 experts I've found, and then I'll connect with them.
Right.
And I'll like explain them what a Try Guys shoot involves. I kind of sell them on it. I make sure I feel that they're right. You know, like sometimes I've gotten off, I'm like, they don't get it.
Oh, okay.
And then
I do not get it.
yeah.
Or some people are like more
Some
apt
people
to
just
being
don't
on
know
camera.
what YouTube is, you know, like they're
Right.
but you can tell when they do. Like either they'll know the Try Guys or they're just like, oh, this is amazing. I'll spend a couple hours of my day like promoting what I do.
Yeah.
And then you work with the production staff to put together a schedule, and then that becomes a call sheet. And then the day of, you're really the director.
I feel like you're skipping over a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Basically, you're the party planner.
I feel like there's so many things. You have to
But,
find
like,
like
with a
location,
lot.
you have to find the people, you have to get all of the materials, you have to get all
and
the
again,
props,
it's
all
not
the
all
things, you know?
solo. Like
No.
It's like
the staff is
a lot of
researching
work.
who
Oh my
and
gosh.
Yeah.
The prep
making
for
it easy.
shoots.
And then when you decide the props, like our team goes and buys them. But it is, it's a lot.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of moving.
And then you're
videos.
definitely, I think, what's at least unique to Try Guys World is the producer. And for those who have watched War Live, like, is the director on set.
Yeah.
You know, plus you're kind of watching the schedule. You're a little bit of an AD.
Right.
You know, like you want to make sure everything's happening on time, which on huge productions, the director does not worry about that. And you want to make sure everyone's comfortable. That's my
Do you have any insight for anyone who wants to get into production? Like
YouTube production or just production in general?
or just any sort of entertainment? Like how did you kind
I
of find
think-
your way?
My recommendation is if you're starting out, it's always good to know where you want to go, especially like are you interested in TV? Are you interested in
Digital.
YouTube? Do you want to make movies? They're going to be different paths. But it's great to be open-minded and try everything at the beginning, which sometimes is financially the best move too, because you just want to get jobs.
Right.
But I think you learn something, whether like a commercial shoot is very different from a music video, which is very different from a movie. So there's all these like pockets within production that I think if you just start out as a PA and you could just work as many variety of jobs.
That's a good idea.
And then, but have your goal in mind.
Right.
You know, like, because I think once you've worked different jobs within a certain time frame, let's say a year, you should probably start making steps towards, okay, like I'm in a commercials, let me maybe just stay in this world and let me find a job here that I think I could climb towards.
Right.
And then my other advice is like network.
Yeah. Be nice to people.
Which is, be nice. And when I hear the word network, I always think of like going around an event and shaking hands. And that's not what it is. I think it's staying in touch with people you liked and reminding them that you're out there without being annoying. But like, you know, I appreciate when we finish up a job and a DP or someone will write me and be like, hey, it was really great working with you. Here's my resume. Like, call me again. And I think that is so important.
And you on the other end, like you like that? Or
Yeah. As long as it's not overbearing.
Right.
Like I've had a few people who are like every week, like checking in, you know, like that's not cool.
Yeah.
But I think when I worked in film and I was looking for a job a couple times a year, you know, like a film would last 3 to 6 months.
Right.
I would individually email everyone I had worked with that I had connected with, whether they were in costumes or whether they were an editor. And as a production assistant, you get to meet everyone.
Right.
So make sure you get to meet people, and then the people like who will remember you, like anyone can help you get another gig. It doesn't necessarily need to be your supervisor.
Yeah.
Because if a customer is like, yeah, I liked working with Rainie, like here, the next job she gets, she'll turn your resume into that production supervisor or whatever.
Finding a job a few times a year is intense.
Yeah, that's stressful.
That's why I wanted to get out of it by the end.
Yeah.
That is super stressful.
But it's
marketing
like an adventure,
yourself.
but yeah,
The
it's
gig life. Yeah.
How long were you in that world? In the like getting jobs every 3
I
6
was
months?
in the freelance world for 16 years.
Wow.
Oh my God.
For like 4 of those I was in TV, and for the 4 in TV for 2 solid years I worked for a TV writer. So I was like I was his assistant.
Oh, cool.
So it wasn't quite the same. And then I crossed over. I was like, I don't want to work in TV anymore. I want to make movies. So in 2004, I got my first like PA job on a movie. And then I ever since was just hustling for movie jobs.
Wow.
When I was younger, I didn't.
You don't feel it as much when you're
I
younger
don't feel
because you're
so,
like,
but then
I want to learn everything I can and I want to absorb and
Go,
meet
go, go.
people.
And some people obviously like love it and can never imagine leaving. And it's always like in the freelance side called going corporate or becoming a suit. Like they became a suit, like they crossed over. Because I think people who love it, it's just like an adventurous life, and you're not tied down to any corporation. And if you don't like your boss, the job's going to end. You're going to be able to say, I won't work with them again. But yeah, for me, it just became a grind.
Yeah.
What was between TV and movies? What did you notice was different?
Well, when I worked in TV, it was very traditional sitcoms, which was like taped in front of a live studio audience. I feel like they're kind of a dying genre
It's all
now.
laugh track.
Yeah, and that was a very regulated schedule. Like every Tuesday there was a run through, and every Friday you did the show, and the audience would come in.
Right.
It was very writer controlled. Like the writers were the cool crowd.
Oh.
And I was in production and we weren't, you know, like everyone else is just
The
running around.
hierarchy. Yeah.
Yeah, writers rule the roost in TV.
Yeah.
On a film set, it would be the director. You know, like the you're kind of catering to the director's vision, or if it's like a very involved producer. But on the traditional sitcom set, and I'm not saying like it was a grind for writers too. Like they're working long hours, but
And their output has to be
but there's usually a top writer who's the showrunner who's kind of running the writer's room, and then the run through is for them to see if their jokes work. They're doing rewrites. Usually there's a writer or a team of writers who have written that week's episode, and they're sort of on set making sure the jokes land and it's being executed correctly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, like the writers were kind of in from my perspective in production, the writers were like the stars.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So you worked on the Gay Makeover
I did.
video.
Yes.
Woo.
So we want to talk about some behind the scenes knowledge.
Yes.
Whose idea was it? Why did it happen?
Yes.
What was your inspiration?
Well, what's funny is, so Rachel had done 2 incredible Try Mom videos. And I think I did not walk in the room and say we should do Try Gays. I'd be curious if Rachel recalls this. I think Rachel just threw it into the mix.
Gays.
I think Rachel was just like, we should do Try Gays with Eugene. And so I just took that. I came up, sort of like what I was saying before, I came up with like 4 or 5 ideas. My idea for the first episode was Gay's retried gym class.
Oh,
that would
Always
be
a
fun.
traumatic experience.
I know.
I wanted to explore that.
yeah.
And I was like trying to work with like gay athletic leagues now because I feel like a big part of hating gym class as young queers is like you feel so different already. And then you're like, I remember I would just like softball was the worst because you're just up there in front of everyone and it's like defining your masculinity or whatever. That was my idea for number 1, but it seemed like a big production. So to test it, I presented all these to Eugene, and Eugene was like, let's do makeovers. I should host. We should get a diverse cast. Which then led me to, I think it was like our first video we've ever hired a casting director from.
Oh, wow.
Or I have a queer casting director friend, and I was like, we're going to do this. And he was totally down and loved it and did all these interviews. And I watched a lot of them. There's probably like 10 people like that were solid.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we picked 3, and they were all great. They were just like so down to be part of it, which is part of it too. Like watching their tapes, I'm like, oh, I think they'll like get this. And then I was in and out whether I wanted to be in it. And I actually asked Rachel once, since she had done Try Moms, I'm like, I don't think I want to do it. I think it's going to stress me out. Like I want to be, especially with new cast.
Right.
But on the other side, which I think this is ultimately why I ended up working, her and I talked about it. She's like, you'll be with them. So I won't like be that producer saying like, we got to get this and that and this. I like when I talk to them, I'm like, I'm going to be one of you.
Right.
So if you ever feel that you're not in a safe space or that we're talking about something uncomfortable, like talk to me. Like let's make this, make us all look good together.
Yeah.
Sounds like you were the mole. The sleeper
But I was
agent
upfront
is the
about
way
it. No. Yeah, and then I feel like the next component was we got an incredible stylist.
Yeah.
Who was so down to like work with I talked to a few stylists and some of them were like, oh, we need this budget to be
Even
here.
higher. Yeah.
And my thing was like, I don't want this to be about name brands or a makeover into expensive clothes. I want this to be achievable by viewers and to be more about not the brand or the cost, but just about a look that you can get. And so she was, totally got that. And I think everything that we bought and show in the video is from, like the Express or like a mall, we didn't keep it too fancy.
Yeah.
When you were planning everything out, did you already have like people's story arcs and stuff in mind from watching the videos, or does it develop over?
So it's cool because we've never done casting. Like Vincent was our casting director. I talked to him about what the video should be, and he did an hour interview with each one of them.
Wow.
And just talking like why they want a makeover, why they're not happy in their current style, like what is making them uncomfortable. And then we shot day 1, I think a week, maybe 2 weeks ahead of the reveal, so the stylist had time to shop.
Right.
And that really was like a day where she sat in and met them and interviewed them, and then Eugene interviewed them on camera and just got a feel for what they'd want. But I was nervous leading up to it. I'm like, what one of them hates it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's kind of good content, though.
Those moments.
I know, but I didn't know if I wanted to go that way. But yeah, that is like the reality show producer dream, right? Like they walk out.
And they're like, I don't.
During the summer, I love to roast vegetables. And Caraway makes these amazing sheet pans that you can use in the oven. They're non-toxic, they're chemical-free, so I can fill my summer with all of my favorite recipes without worry. I love how easy they are to clean up. They look great in my kitchen. They come with their own little organizer, so they look perfect in my cabinet. I just don't have enough good things to say about Caraway. Don't miss Caraway's Summer Refresh event from June 20th to July 15th. For a limited time, get 10% off site-wide on the internet's favorite kitchenware. It's the perfect time to take care of your summer gifting, ideal for both graduates and newlyweds. With cookware, bakeware, food storage, and tea kettles to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit carawayhome.com/sitwithus to get 10% off during their summer refresh event. Certain exclusions apply. That's carawayhome.com/sitwithus or use code SITWITHUS at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern.
Did anything crazy happen on set or during that time? Any juicy stories?
During the Gay Makeovers?
Yeah.
No. Let me think.
Go in an unexpected direction. Any drama at all?
Matt's like, tell me.
Yeah. No, that's the best part is I think I don't have a really dramatic story to tell because they all were super happy with their makeovers. And like Carol had a queer daughter who brought her girlfriend. And I don't know, it's just like, everyone just had like a really
so wholesome.
Yeah. It ended up being very wholesome. Yeah.
When you say you were like stressed out, were you stressed to be both producing and on camera, or were you stressed to be on camera, period?
Both was what my stress is coming from. And then I was like a little nervous to be on camera.
Yeah. Why were you nervous? Just because?
Because I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to talk about personal things. I actually didn't end up going there. Like we kind of stuck to one area, but I'm like, am I going to talk about like body image? Like we never opened up that door, but I was ready to do it.
Right.
That's sort of part of why I wanted to make over too.
Yeah.
But the original, the initial stress was like, I don't think I could like relax and then be like, is everyone else okay?
Yeah.
And are we on time? And Eugene, you have what you need? And
it's a lot of roles.
But it all worked out. Yeah. Rachel was like she's like, do it.
Yeah.
You should do
Aww.
it. Yeah.
Aww.
It was such a fun
There
video.
are a lot of tender moments.
Yeah.
In that video. So how did you pull those out of people? You know, because there wasn't like a confessionals like on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Because
you know, like how do you get people to that place where they could then, you know, kind of talk about that?
Because we were not being like, we weren't being on the other side, and my intention wasn't to produce gotcha moments. And I think a lot of reality show is based on that. So
that's true.
You know, for The Bachelor or whatever, like you're going to have your producer who's kind of your friend, but they're also like
feeding you not almost.
Yeah, they're like utilizing you for moments. So it's a weird relationship. And I think that's not what this was, which is why there's no drama. Like I just was like, I want everyone to leave here feeling good.
Right.
I want everyone to feel super comfortable telling their story. You know, I told them, I'm like, if we go into something you don't want to address, just flag it in this moment. Or if you think about it afterwards, let me know and I'll edit it out. So it was all just about being like comfortable.
Yeah.
Gay, queer people who want makeovers do not need to be gotcha.
Hoodwinked.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it would have been good TV if we gave them an outfit that they felt horrendous in, and they were like, "This is crazy."
But
that's
that was not the video.
The intention.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the heartwarming moments were just natural because we weren't trying to get moments that weren't.
Although I will say BTS, I remember the tattoo video. You were asking me like a lot of great questions.
Yeah.
Like I was surprised. I was like, oh, I don't have to just concoct this. Like Nick is gonna like kind of get me in the right space.
Pull it out.
Yeah.
Which I like doing too. That's what's fun about producing. I guess I left that out, the interview.
Okay, so some of our listeners had some questions, and these can be just rapid fire.
Okay.
Who at the company is most similar to your younger self?
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, younger self.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you, even if it's just a quality, it doesn't even have to be.
Be funny if I answered like,
it's like
MJ, and I'm just like,
what?
Like, I'm nothing like you. Yeah.
How would you describe your younger self also? Like, what are you thinking about? Like, when...
I mean, I think younger self, like if 25-year-old Nick arrived at Suck and Try, I think I would vibe with everyone.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
But yeah, what I was eager and I liked working with people, and I guess I see little bits of myself in everyone here for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Jonathan told me that he writes around work. I was like, oh, that's very much like me, like what I've always done. So I like respected it, and I was like, I kind of see myself in that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Who's your favorite tri-pet?
Who's your favorite?
Yours,
baby.
Which one? Which one?
And yours, Maggie. I do love all the tri-pets. Melanie is here the most often.
That's true.
I do have a soft spot for YB's dog Lou.
Oh, he's a good
Also
boy.
cute.
Who I've only probably met a couple times.
He's
just like the gentle giant.
Good boy.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yes.
Approved.
I like all pets. I'm a dog guy.
Really not a good answer.
We're always just trying.
I'm not gonna get any. I'm not gonna get into picking favorite dogs.
It's like picking favorite children.
Yeah.
Everyone always wants people to answer that.
I mean, I have a
question.
tri-pet too, but no one's really met her.
Oh my gosh.
I
Who's
met
your
her.
tri-pet?
She's-
Emmy.
Yeah, she's sweet.
She's my little like half Shar-Pei.
Why is Emmy not here?
Because she would go crazy.
She's a sweetie.
Yeah, she's a sweetie, but she's energetic.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I brought her through one time on my way to something, but
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
How old is she?
she's 6.
Be cute.
And energetic, because 6 is sometimes when they
I
mellow
know.
out.
She's definitely got the energy of a puppy. And Paul works from home, so that's his work partner.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take her away from him. She's alone. Yeah.
What's your best Rachel story?
What's so funny is I feel like the viewers and the audience never see Rachel and I together.
And you guys are together.
We are together all the
constantly.
time. We share an office.
Yes.
And I just had dinner. She had dinner
Can't
with.
get away from each other.
Yeah, we had dinner, a Saturday night dinner this weekend.
It's always Nick and Rachel, everyone.
I'm sure I have many stories, but I feel like my first one that I'll share is when Rachel was getting ready to come back. We didn't know each other. Like I shadowed her for 2 weeks and she left.
Yeah.
And then when maybe a month or so before she decided to come, she said, I'm going to come back in September. I had a pitch to the guys. I'm like, do you want to keep me too? You know, like.
Oh, wow. You had a pitch? You had but
we had talked about it,
Yeah.
but they didn't remember to officially tell me.
Yeah, they had talked about it like early before because
Yeah.
I do remember this. Zach mentioned it. He's like, "Well, we don't want to lose Nick."
Yeah.
They
So then
wanted
I
to
like
keep
had
them
to
both.
officially check in. I'm like, am I staying?
Yeah.
So anyway, Rachel and I go grab a coffee like a week before she came back. And I remember going to that coffee being like, I really don't even know this
What?
person who's going to share the position with me. And she's done this job alone. And then I've done this job alone. So are we going to mesh?
Right.
And so we went and grabbed a coffee. And I just remember like 10 minutes and being like, oh yeah, like it already feels like I know you. And we're just having a good time. I'm like, I think this is going to work. Yeah. So when Rachel and I had coffee at the general store in Silver Lake was a defining moment for me.
Yeah. Second Try is so fortunate to have both of you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you both get along and are just wonderful people.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel super fortunate in many different places, but having a good relationship with Rachel is tops.
Yeah.
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 Could have been a disaster.
It could have been.
I could have been like, I did this, and she could have been like, I did it this way.
Yeah.
And we would have had to really figure some shit out.
Trial by fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on. So you're no longer a producer though, and you're.
So I'm not a producer at the moment.
What is a chief operating officer? What do you do?
Yeah.
What's the day in the life look like?
So
Why are you there?
I
You there?
got the title last year, but I kept producing videos, and what I learned was like I can't really do that job while I'm doing this one.
Right. Because someone needed.
Yeah, like there's just so many things that you really need time And when there's a video that needs to be produced, that's all that matters.
Right.
And there was always a video that needs to produce, another video behind it.
Con doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
Like I said, con doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
Constant.
So I define my job as I'm making sure that the company runs efficiently day to day. Like
Yes.
just overseeing all operations. And as we've grown to a staff of 20,
Someone needs to be in charge.
like there's just always something.
and making sure
Yeah.
we're nice and organized.
Yeah. So just like, everything, I mean, we have Devin now who took over a lot of finance, but I still like run the payroll, any employee issues that they want to talk about. They come to me just to try to work it out. Yeah, the guys too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I see that.
I mean,
typically,
anyone,
if an
but,
employee.
like, that could come from.
Oh, I thought frequently the guys were talking to you about employees. I was like,
No. Like I just
Rainie,
mean,
you're in
like,
trouble.
Yeah.
they do that
it
every
could be
week.
anything.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like I meet. Now I have the time to meet every week. I meet with the social team and just find out what's going on. Every other week I meet with Miles just to run through podcasts.
Shout out, we love
Shout
him
out
here.
to Miles.
Friend of the pod.
Yeah. I summon the guys and Rachel for a meeting once a week if I can and just go through company issues.
Yeah.
And then I've just had like bigger bucket things that I'm always trying to work on.
What I'm learning is that Nick's just like a jack of all trades. You
Yeah.
can do it all. You food critic, producer, COO, you understand like budgets and payroll. Like you
just
could
cannot figure out when the Tonys are on.
that's it. I mean, we'll take it.
Your fatal flaw.
I plan the parties.
Oh, of course, the hat
Your party planner.
Never forget.
Party.
Yeah.
So what
I
are you
love
doing
planning the parties.
today?
You plan really good parties
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
thank you. Today, I'm actually, after this, I'm going to go process payroll.
Okay, nice.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
But very,
Rainie loves.
very
That's
important.
my favorite part of your
Yes.
job. Yeah.
But yeah, I just always have like a to-do list. It's never, no week is the same.
Right.
You know, hirings, whenever we,
Hire a new person. Yeah.
we hired Kaylin in our social department. And I feel
Yeah.
like that was like a couple weeks of interviewing and bringing her back and making an offer, so it's just all that stuff takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you, Nick, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and sit with us and talk to our audience. And
Where can everyone find you on or your food critic?
LinkedIn, baby.
LinkedIn.
Where's your food critic blog?
My blog is long defunct, but my stories, if you're in Southern California or and a AAA member, it's Westways magazine.
Wow.
Find
Many
him
people
in
get it as a
Westways.
freebie and don't realize it.
Yeah.
Find him in Westways.
Find me in Westways,
And I will continue messaging you.
my big social media platform.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
Maggie, you should text me every time Nick gives you a suggestion.
I should just like have a running list.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever need them,
Oh, yeah. I guess I could go to direct
just
to source.
come to the source.
Yeah.
I honestly love the question.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's like
I
a
will.
challenge. I'm like, what are you looking for? What kind of?
I'm trying to curate for you
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me come back with some options.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes. We'd love to have you back sometime in the future.
Nice.
Setting us up. Yeah.
And for all the listeners out there, thank you so much for listening in. Remember to be nice to yourself, be nice to others, wash your hands, pee after sex, and content never sleeps. Keep watching.
Vote in your local election.
And vote, yes.
Vote
Pee after
sex.
sex. Okay.
Yeah.
6. I was
After
okay,
sex.
6
After
PM?
sex.
Only after
I
sex.
mean,
Okay.
Yeah,
men are less likely
perfect.
to get UTIs, but we just throw it in.
I see.
You just throw it in. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Ramble.